Greetings, readers and friends. Harvey Michaels here. I'm thrilled to welcome you to our adventure into Danshui President Plunge, Book 1, Evacuate or Pay. It was an electrifying story to write, and I can't wait to share some with you today. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Your support means the world to me. Thank you kindly. Okay, here we go. Chapter 4, Flashing Madmen. Friday afternoon, Fisherman's Wharf Hotel. Sanbao grasps the inside of his son's elbow and lightly pushes his back with the other hand. The billionaire founder of this corporation, who had the ear of the last 4 presidents in Taiwan, guides his son out of hearing range from the others. The storm is erupting in so much noise, a few steps is far enough. Sanbao shows a brave, positive face for his son and for everyone else too. He speaks at the sight of his son's clenched jaws and raised cheeks, speaks directly into his ear, grinning for anyone paying attention to them. Many faces rotate to watch Sanbao. Respected for his patient wisdom, he was pursued daily and revered by these people, just not by his son. Their faces now smile along with Sanbao's. "What's the matter, son? I think this gathering is a tremendous success. It's very fresh and unique, even historic." He looks directly at his CEO son, trying and failing to make eye contact, continuing before Bernard said anything. Any unbiased person would think so too. Everyone here will look back and be glad they were here, and it's all because of you. You should be proud. We are totally safe and taken care of. Sanbao squeezes his son's shoulder. He feels his own blood pressure turning up behind his eyes and under his arms. But something else is bothering you. "Father," he says with intensity, surprising Sanbao, "I'm sorry I got you into this. We should have rescheduled. I should have used video conferencing instead." "I'm fine, son." Both men try to appear comfortable, as if no super typhoon was screaming and pounding on the windows around them. "It really is incredible to be here now. I think your mother would want to see this too. She's even more adventurous than I am." Bernard's anguished face contradicts his father's loving smile. "Thank you, Father, no matter how this turns out, and God bless you." Sanbao's face tilts, confused, barely keeping the grin pasted on his face for an appearance. Bernard rarely says thank you or God bless you. What is with him? How can I be so out of touch with him? Am I so different from my own father? To say 1931 Taiwan was a different place to become a father is a vast understatement. That was the year Sanbao's big brother was born into the world before his 2 brothers. Sanbao's father inherited farmlands, but never felt prosperous. He had it drummed into him since his own childhood that wealth was not like a thickly trunked tree, strong and immovable. Wealth was fickle. Droughts, floods, pestilence, and famine made farm wealth change hands. Sanbao and his big brothers Arbao and Dabao were expected to take advantage of the Japanese education system in place and work hard to further the Wang family's stability. His eldest brother fell in line with his father's conservative instructions. Talking with Dabao always sounded the same as talking to his father. Dabao was determined to obediently go into the military and rise through the ranks. Dabao told everyone his plans since he was old enough to talk, saying just what his father wanted him to say. Sanbao's father never exuded much confidence, perhaps because he was the first generation that didn't rely on hired hands, but tenant farmers who paid the Wangs a portion of their crops rather than receiving guaranteed wages. They shared the risk and shared the good harvests, which weren't always plentiful, but they never had 2 bad years in a row. Sanbao's father was considered a great man, but to Sanbao, his mother was the great one. Her name was the first English word Sanbao remembers learning, angel. In those days, having an English name was only one of the rare and wonderful things about his mother. Emerging from a harsh Japanese-occupied era and a rural culture where no one smiled for photos and everyone continually shared the smallest worries and criticisms, Angel was a shining star of loving charisma. She grew flowers around the family vegetable garden, sang joyful songs around the house, and ignored the naysayers who frowned at Angel's head in the clouds. To say she was lazy was ridiculous, but because her toiling was done with bubbling happiness, many claimed she was, and a few openly alleged lunacy. Sanbao and Arbao stayed glued to her side, helping her and enjoying her company until she shooed them off to do chores or go play. Arbao and Sanbao were inseparable from each other when they weren't with their mother. She called them twins and made a song she would sing. Here come the twins, here come the twins, hide the candy, hide the toys, here come the twins. Angel never drank a drop of the cold and bitter life brew that everyone passed around, and she colored Sanbao's childhood golden with treasured memories. Every person in their family felt the air sucked out of their world when Angel died in the accident. Sanbao was 17 and Arbao 18. In South and East Taiwan, from October to December 1951, there were 700 earthquakes, collectively called the East Rift Valley quakes. On Sunday, after a Thanksgiving Day lunch, Sanbao's mother went to volunteer at the not-so-near hospital. She wasn't satisfied only sitting in church, as she referred to the long religious services she privately complained about in hushed tones at the Wang dinner table. She was too busy with her own chores to go help on any other day than Sunday, and hospitals relied on volunteer help from the patients' families and any other Good Samaritans who felt moved to assist. Arbao and Sanbao often went with their mother, but they were too busy that day preparing for upcoming high school exams. It was a grueling season in his life, Sanbao recalls, though sharing long bus rides with Arbao and coming home to his mother made it easier. The hospital should have been torn down after the many quakes earlier that autumn. However, cracked walls or not, there was no other facility for the sick and wounded to go to. On that fateful day, the 3-story hospital was filled with patients, nurses, doctors, and visitors, old and young. Sanbao's mother asked how she could help, as she did many other Sunday afternoons. When she finished with one patient, there was always someone else to help. She would humbly bow after doing what she could and say, "Jesus loves you, and so do we, his children," smiling and backing out to her next undertaking. His mother's English name could not have been more appropriate. She was the kind angel, the angel for others' needs, the caring angel. She would not stop until after dark most Sundays, doing whatever she could to help. When the first massive earthquake hit at 14 minutes before 3 in the afternoon, Angel was smacking an elderly woman's back with Angel's own cupped hands to loosen phlegm in the patient's lungs. She knew this woman from the previous week and was softly singing Amazing Grace to the patient as she worked. Within seconds, with only "we must go outside" to explain, Angel lifted the older woman and carried her to the front lot outside the hospital. The earth shook heavily the whole way so that it was difficult to walk. Nevertheless, she turned back inside to help more however she could. On her second trip inside to help bring patients outside, the second earthquake began, even bigger than the first, at 10 minutes to 3. She and others loudly pleaded with the frightened crowd of infirmed and relatives milling around. They needed to evacuate immediately. The building was not safe. As she carried the second elderly woman out, the upper floor started making rumbling sounds. Dust squirted out, bloomed in the air from nowhere around the stairwells. Outside, they could hear ghostly growling coming from the challenged walls and ceilings in the hospital. People already outside and those streaming outside knew they were lucky to not still be inside. "I can't carry all my babies!" A plaintive cry came from the second floor. No one moved a muscle save Angel, who darted inside and up the stairs to the mother, still crying out for help. Go, I will take her." The woman was squeezing her 2 toddlers against her legs and staring at her baby girl in the small bed before hearing Angel and bolting out the door. The mother and her toddlers made it all the way down and barely outside before the center of the entire structure gave way behind. Angel held her arms out, sensing the baby might escape. What Angel understood was happening if she held her outward towards hands that might take the baby from her. That baby survived. The mother returned and found her half covered in dusty rubble, still in Angel's unmoving hands. Angel's hands were the only part of her that protruded from the rubble. They didn't dare attempt to rescue Angel as more of the building kept rumbling and falling. Decades later, in honor of his mother, Wang Sanbao donated a hospital wing after her. In the lobby is a commissioned sculpture of his mother's hands protruding and reaching from a mound of rubble, with a person-sized, kindest-looking angel bending over the hands. The plaque explains the story of what happened that day and says at the end, with large letters in Chinese and English, "Thank you, Angel." The new hospital wing put the sculpture in their lobby with a large plaque explaining the events of 1951, which was 50 years before Sanbao commissioned the sculpture and donated the wing for the hospital. The rescued baby in 1951, in 2001, an elementary school principal accepted an invitation to honor her guardian angel. She attended with her husband, children, and grandchildren. While photo slides behind her showed the building before and after the collapse, she said in a short videoed speech that she wasn't the sort of person who would cry, but she ended up breaking down in sobbing tears, looking up and weeping thanks to the angel in the sculpture, viewed on YouTube over 3 million times. "I see another round of dishes approaching. You are the host. We should return to our seats." Sanbao smiles again at him, wanting to help his son however he could. With his face pointed at the window, suffering the most direct storm violence, Bernard looks pale and trembles. "If only I could go back and—" "Oh, never mind." He exhales forcefully to avoid sighing and shakes his head to ready himself. Turning to face the room, he pats his father's back, the closest Bernard ever came to giving a hug. "All right, Father, you are right. We must do our best. As they say, on with the show." He swings out his arm, hand extended, in a show of politeness, to lead his father toward his seat. Willie and Dee. "Does it annoy you ever, when you get so gripped by a job?" I asked Willie a couple of weeks ago. He had become the tireless Willie from years past, if possible, with even more passion. Willie paused and nodded, looking away, snatching fistfuls of his beard like it held the answers. "Before? Not anymore. I can tell you I play mind games with myself, stopping, starting, diverting, bargaining. I'd rather not feel so blind obsessed when I'm really rolling and momentum sort of carries me. But it is a gift, not a curse, most of the time. It's just, I'm not sure what it is. He looks back at me. No one likes their work all of the time. I think of it as a career job. Everyone hates their deal sometimes. I didn't challenge Willie's rambling answer. I couldn't ask for clarification when Willie was plainly still searching for that answer himself. Evie and I prayed for him the most, him and our sons. Coming down in the elevator, I puzzle briefly over Evie's cryptic comment about Willie and nip it in the bud. Switch the channel, Dee. It can wait. This assignment is from on high. It is an honor to be trusted and a serious thing to say yes. It includes fasting and doing important errands too. I trust it won't take long. My boss is the greatest. He knows what he's doing. Everything can wait for a time while a fireman puts out a fire. The same is true when a doctor performs surgery or when a sailor jumps overboard to save someone who can't swim. For a short time, we can put everything on hold. I picture Willie 9 years ago with no beard, and it makes me smile. In Taiwan, bearded faces are uncommon. Willie looks good with a beard, and it gives him something to fidget with besides the plastic water bottles perpetually glued to his fingertips. Even though Willie has grown the beard these last 9 years since Pieface was killed, we remember Willie even longer without whiskers. Bright sunshine is surrendering the sky away, piece by piece, darker to the north, lighter overhead and south. There is a diffused milky quality to the sunlight drifting to gray. Everyone in Taichung and all around Taiwan will watch the skies and the weather reports, seeing if the forecasted path of the storm might curl to the south. No predicted path can be counted on. Typhoons are fickle. They stall, reverse course, or run away like they saw a ghost. Many typhoons hit northern Taiwan with a glancing blow and hurry past to Japan, Korea, or China. Not this one, grinding slowly, chewing up every bite of Taipei it can. Less than 2 months ago, the enormous typhoon called Meiji hit Taichung. It covered all of Taiwan, the third typhoon in 2 weeks. Authorities called for an unprecedented 2 days off work and school while Meiji parked atop Taiwan. Everyone remembers hours and hours of extreme wind, then branches covering streets and parks. What will a super typhoon be like? A neighbor is outside the front gate near a smoldering pot, one of 3 community pots for burning paper money. She is shielding her eyes from the sun, looking up at the outer edges of the super typhoon overflowing toward Taichung. She's locked in discussion with the uniformed attendant behind the open window, the man I call Dai Laoshi, Teacher Dai, for all he has shared with me about Taiwan on his long night shifts. He nods at me. She doesn't notice me passing between them. I'm shocked, but I smile at Willie, pulling down on a shorn beard, grinning at me from behind his double-parked black 4-door pickup with a low shell over the back. The tailgate is down and the shell hatch door is up. Through the open back end, I see full sandbags strapped to the sides and corners of Willie's truck bed. He's in short sleeves, same as me. Nice sunny day, he says. Taichung, eh? I chuckle. This is the last sun we'll see, I add, and trip over a sidewalk crack, nearly falling flat, but recover in the next step. Willie looks away rather than tease at my clumsiness. I am dazed. Maybe we both are, wondering about what just tripped out of my mouth. That's it for today. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed the reading this time. Please leave a comment if you did. What did you think? Remember, sharing is caring, so please do tell a friend who would like to join us here. If you are enjoying the journey, I'd be so grateful if you would be a supporter and pick up a copy of Danshui President Plunge on Amazon and leave a review. Until next time, take care I look forward to seeing you here again. See you then.